Hello everyone, and welcome to the Be Strong Families webinar series, Staying Strong and Positive for Ourselves and Our Children. Welcome today to our three very special guests. I'm Lori Sanchez. I will be hosting today just to kind of help move the conversation along. So we're going to be celebrating the third act, celebrating some of us that are a little bit older and wiser and sharing our insights with you all. So welcome. Come on in and let us know in the chat where you're from. I'm joining you all from sunny Texas. Not so sunny today. We've got rain. Haven't had it for a while, but I'm sure it's just the tail end of what's happening on the East Coast. But drop in the chat. Let us know where you're from. And Andrew, if we can have the next slide, we'll keep moving on. Okay, there are a couple of ways to engage if you're new to our webinar. When you're ready to speak, please raise your hand. You're going to find that in your toolbar, wherever you may be on whatever device you might be. It might be on the bottom if you're on a computer. It might be on the top if you're on your cell phone or another tablet. So please just raise your hand, and Andrew, who's running tech for us today, will ask you to unmute yourself and give you permission to speak. And please feel free to put all of your comments in the chat. Make sure that it says to everyone so that we can all see it. If you don't put that, then the only people that will be able to see it will be those of us that are on the panel. And we want everybody to be able to read your comments and add to them. Please be patient with us. We're going to try to get to everyone who raises their hand and every comment online. But one of the things as you get older is you need reading glasses. So please be patient with me. I'm going to try to get to every single comment that we can. And then we have 3 agreements. Speak from your own experience. Use I statements. I believe, or I in my experience, or I have had this happen in my life, because we are the stars of our own story and we are the experts of our own lives. So we don't speak to anyone else's experience. And then we ask that you follow the golden rule. Treat other people the way you want to be treated. Exactly what we learned way back in kindergarten for those of us who are in the third act. And full presence. Please, no multitasking. We ask that you gift yourself this hour and share your time and just be fully present so that you can reap the benefits of today's conversation. It's going to be amazing. And if you need a minute, please take a minute. We're not going to take breaks. You'd be surprised how quickly an hour passes. So please take time to yourself if you need it. And we'll be here. So just rejoin us. If you agree to these agreements, please put I agree in the chat, as I see a lot of people already doing, because obviously you all have been here before. And if you're new, just type in the chat, I agree, and we'll move on. Next slide, please, Andrew. Alrighty, our presentation today is the third act, conversations that find joy in getting older. And we have some very special people today, people that I have the great joy of working with virtually, but on a daily basis. And so if y'all could introduce yourselves, we'll start with Ms. Shirley, and then Dr. Onaje Muid, and then Dorian. Ms. Shirley, if you want to say a little bit about yourself.
Yes. Hi, everybody. First, that's what I want to say. And I am saying hello to everyone from Chicago, Illinois, where I live. And I am a mom of 2 adult sons, and I have 3 grandchildren. And I'm also a fur mommy of 3. So that's who I am.
Thank you, Ms. Shirley.
You're welcome.
Onaje?
Yes, greetings everyone. Onaje Muid. I am a proud grandfather. I think I stopped counting. I think I'm up to around 12 already. Something like that. I'm in a blended family, so I have biological as well extended family grandchildren. And through that, of course, I'm a father as well. And I work as a social worker, particularly in the area of healing historical trauma, and most of my work is geared toward reducing infant mortality and maternal mortality in the Black community.
Thank you. That's amazing. Dorian?
Yes, so good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, welcome. My name is Dorian Harris. I reside here in the city of Philadelphia. Work for the school district of Philadelphia. Been here for 17 years as a community relations manager. I also work for one of the community umbrella agencies under the Department of Human Services as a parent mentor. Been there for 6 years. Sit on numerous boards. I'm involved in a whole lot of other initiatives, and I have 7 biological children, which gives me 19 grandchildren. Um, so I am able to keep track of the numbers, but not the names. But if I look at it through my wife's, my ex-wife is basically really 34 grandchildren. So I just try to stay supportive and be involved in, all aspects of their lives as I can.
Wow. Well, congratulations to all of you. I am not a grandparent, but I am a parent of 3 adult children. And someday I guess I'll be a grandparent. But one thing you all forgot to say is that you are the outstanding members of the National Parent Café leadership team.
Oh, and I am an outstanding member of the National Parent Cafe leadership team. My apology. You are right. Correct.
Yes, all 3 of our panelists today are members of the National Parent Cafe leadership team. And I've met them through cafes, and they do various activities with us representing Be Strong families across the country. So welcome and thank you. And we're all going to share a little bit about our viewpoints. We've had this conversation a couple of times. And for a while there, as we were creating a new deck called The Third Act for the elders, for people who are in their families who have elders, seniors, people in the third stage of life. So we have questions about grandparents, about what it is to go through this life experience, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. So Andrew, can we have the first question, please? Okay, I want y'all to think about this. What is the most positive thing you see in the mirror when you look at yourself? Anybody want to jump in and say it? Honestly, I avoid mirrors as much as possible.
I can jump in and say the most positive thing, and when I look in the mirror, that I can say is, wow, I'm here, I'm still around, I have a chance to learn more, I have a chance to do more, and to continue to be positive and look forward to everything that's coming. That's what I see when I.
That's great. Yeah, it's some days it's harder to find positive things than others, but I agree, Miss Shirley. It's amazing to be able to continue learning. For me, switching jobs and learning to do Zoom, even though it was not very cooperative this morning, learning to be flexible, that's been really amazing. So you're right, being positive and learning, being able to learn new things is an amazing thing, to be able to look at yourself every day and say, I'm here and I'm ready to learn. Mr. Dorian, Onaje, do y'all have anything that you reflect on when you see yourself?
Yes, I think I want to answer that too. It's every morning, we get up and, we have our routine, but regardless where you go, when you step into that restroom, your bathroom, right, you see that mirror, right? And I actually got 3 mirrors placed in a position in my house because I want to see myself. It's like that Michael Jackson song. I'm looking at the man in the mirror, right? How will I change my ways? But every day it's a learning, every day we learn. And I explain that to my adult children. Parenthood, that parent part never goes away. That's why we become parent. That's why we become a grandparent, right? The parent piece never goes away. So every day I'm learning. I thought the technology piece with the Zoom and the WebEx and the Google Meet and the Google Duo, but guess what? I was able to, get myself acclimated to it, and because this is the new world. Right. And, we being a part of this technology, if we're not part of this technology, then we would be so far behind. So there's not only that, the mind stays sharp, physically, we're there to keep things and just moving forward with life as it comes to us. Because I always say we're never getting older, we're getting younger, right? We go back to where the stage is as, when we was born, right? So I don't look at it as getting older. I just look at it as just grooming and being able to share and um, help those, as we're moving through. As you say, Lori, you said the third chapter of my life. I'll call it the fourth quarter of my life, right? I'm in the fourth quarter of my life right now. So when you get within a certain age, I look at it as the fourth quarter,
That's true. Onaje?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So my name Muid is actually the 59th name of God. Muid means the restorer. Actually, technically, it's Abdul Muid, which is servant of God, the restorer. So every day I have the benefit, the privilege, the wonderment of just going one step towards that to fulfill that. Malcolm X was an inspiration of mine, and I see myself as the physical manifestation of my ancestors' prayers, because many of their lives were just tormented and had so much trauma and pain and suffering, but they felt that one day their children's children would have a better existence. And I am that. I am the manifestation of their prayers. And my life is geared towards continuing what they had already started, which is the full acknowledgement of as being a human being, a spiritual person, having a human experience, and all the people I get a chance to stay with, beautiful people like you, Lori, and those on this panel. I have a chance to be with them. So when I look in the mirror, it's really an acknowledgement of all the blessings that I have in my life.
Oh, that's true. It's amazing. What you say brought to mind that when I look at my children, I see my father's face, my mother's face, and that's true. To see that in them is an amazing thing. We have a hand raised. Dr. Suzette Brown, D. Suzette Brown, if you could please turn on your mic, and we're happy to listen to your comment or your question.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, and I am a grandparent raising a grandchild, adopted 10 children. They're all doing fantastic. I also have one biological daughter. So when I look at myself in the mirror, first thing I want to do is thank my Heavenly Father for me still being here. I mean, it was not easy parenting at all, but what kept me level was doing the cafe. I went to the first cafe here in Atlanta where they had 6 protective factors. And I tell you, it is amazing. And that's what I'm trying to, with my nonprofit, is teach my grandparents that you have to keep yourself strong if you want to be able to survive parenthood. And learning is one part of it. So I just am grateful when I look at myself in the mirror. I give my own self a hug and just keep, like Shirley and Mr. Harris and the other person said, and you, is to just keep doing everything I possibly can for my families. So thank you. I really love this philosophy of the Parent Cafe. I love it. And it works.
It does. Thank you so much for your comment. Does anybody have anything they want to add to Suzette's?
Yes, I definitely want to add in Suzette, and that's great. I had the privilege of attending probably over 100 parent cafes, and everyone is just like each one of these cafes I would leave. I would just more, engage, more involved, and it allowed me to add some of the things that I had to put in my life to keep my families, me raising my children, but also with the work I do along with both of my employees. Every day I'm engaging with families, I'm engaging with parents, I'm supporting families. So I use some of the strategies from I use the 5 protective factors to allow me to share with other families and to implement that in their life at the same time. So, you know, I thank you for being part of this webinar today, but, you know, being a part of a parent cafe, sometimes I can never explain it to a person. I always have to tell them, you have to come to the parent cafe to get the real effects of you know, what these conversations really revolve around.
That's right, Mr. Harris, you absolutely do.
I'd like to add something also, Lori, if that's okay.
Yes, of course, jump in.
To what they said, because I am so grateful that I have an opportunity. I try to set a foundation for myself that the first thing I do when I wake up is to acknowledge that I can wake up and I can stand up and, you know, just to be here. And like I always say, as far as the protective factors as well, I do train. I'm one of the trainers, and I always say I'm not an expert of the protective factors. I've been working with them for 7 years, not 14, 7 years since 2014, and I'm not an expert because I practice them every day because things happen unexpectedly. So that's an opportunity for me to utilize the protective factors. That's what makes them so great. Yeah, but somebody said to me, a relative one time, "You just so happy when you wake up." Well, I usually am because I set that foundation to just give thanks for being here and waking up, because it's been times that I haven't always been like that. Like I've been in the hospital, it's been times, and I don't wake up like that. Other things in life distract me. So when I can do it on my own and those other things like being in the hospital or something doesn't distract me, I can take over and hold fast to my foundation. At least that's what I try to do every day. Sometimes I miss, but the only time I don't is when I have a bad dream. Then I'm confused. When I wake up, I'm trying to separate reality and the dream. Like, is that, you know?
The hyperprotective factors are really, really important. Can any of you share how you manifest them? Because we talk about them in every cafe. And if there's anyone on here who isn't familiar with the protective factors, there are 5, and they are resilience, relationships, social connections, knowledge of parenting and child development, support, concrete support in times of need, and the last one is communication, social and emotional competence of children. So utilizing those 5, because we repeat them every time that we have cafes. But for those people who are on here, how do you all manifest those protective factors in your life?
You know, I'll start. I really communications, and as a result of participating in the parent cafes, I'm paying more attention to communication in terms of what I say, what am I listening for, what am I expecting, just attempting to just be more effective as a communicator, and the questions that are asked through the cards. Let's see. So those of you who may be here for the first time, we have a deck that we use, and the deck has all these questions, and just going through the questions, even when you're not on the parent cafe, you can still like go through the cards and find, you know, resources and another way of seeing things. So that has helped so much in my relationship with my wife, and I think also in relationship with my children. That's just one of the areas. I can talk about every one of them, but because I benefited for all the areas that are the 5 protectors. And also we have a theme for that particular session as well. So it's really connecting the theme with the apparent with a protective factor. So it's a wonderful experience. Thank you for asking.
Yep, I want to comment on that too. You know, one of my protective factors that I really stayed fast by is the relationships. And I believe this is why we came up with the elder deck. You know, all cafes are great. Don't get me wrong; they are great. They're excellent. But when we came up with the ideal of the senior cafe, the elder deck, because sometimes you know, if you are in a cafe and you may have a lot of attendees that may be in their 20s, their mid 30s, their mid 40s, right? But they have nothing in common with me, you know, because our life experience, we got more years in, so the conversations can seem to not fit in with us, you know, as opposed to, you know, you may be in a room and everybody in that room are groupies, they in their 30s, right? I may feel left out of the conversation that they're really talking about because we're not in their time. You know, we're more seasoned. So this is why we came up with this model cafe, when we, you know, everyone who's invited or who joins the cafe are within that certain age group that we are associated with. And I think the conversation can be more in depth with us as opposed to with 3 or 4 20, 25-year-olds at the table in the room. And not that, you know, and that's okay, because 9 out of 10, the best thing they can get from us is what? Knowledge, right? They're gonna get more experience from us from the conversation. But sometimes you might want to keep that, how do you like it, peer to peer. But you know, as you, like I said, I've been over 100 cafes, and I met young dads, and I met middle-aged dads, and guess what? Like I tell them, you know, this thing we call parenting, it didn't come with a book, and every day it's a learning experience. It's a learning experience every day. So as you know, I really like the relationship part of the protective factors, because I know who I need to have conversation with now. I know who I can have better conversation with now. You know, outside of my children, I need to make sure that I have that other person that I'm able to have a conversation to, somebody that I can talk with. At the same time, somebody who within my age range, that if I want to go back into the 60s, and guess what? I got somebody who can relate with me, right? I had somebody who can talk about Astro Boy and Ultraman and those cartoons back then. But I can't have that if there's nobody who came up in the generation that I came up in.
That's true. That's true. It's hard to relate sometimes because we're in a different stage in life, and so we can remember all those things, but it's hard to relate to them. And there's so many things that are different from what they're experiencing in their lives now to what we experience. You know, being a young parent or being a newlywed or being in college or starting work, very different. So I agree with you, Dorian, that it was really important to have this deck for those of us who are a little bit older. And Ms. Suzette, she has her hand raised, so we're gonna open up her mic. Go ahead, Suzette. You have a comment to the question? Can you open your mic?
Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry. But I just took the community cafe, and I was looking at the deck of cards you're talking about. I wanted to know, we got 2 deck of cards, and I just wanted to make sure I had the right one when it comes to what Dorian was mentioned was the older generation.
Yes, it's a brand new deck called the Third Act. And it's actually so new that I don't think it's in our shop yet, if I'm not mistaken, but it should be there in the spring.
In the spring. Okay, I'll keep my eye open for it.
Yeah.
But I also work for an adoption agency, and just wanted to say that I'm going to be doing the cafe on the knowledge of parenting and child development, because even though we have young parents, most of them are unaware of child development. And it's kind of like a yin and a yang. People in life, we all have yin and yangs. I mean, that's part of our survival. Yes, no's, high lows, dark lightness. So they need to understand that it's not it's not unusual for children to go through negative stages of life in order to get to the positive part of it. And that's what I'm going to teach this generation. I don't know if it's an older generation, new generation, or what, but it's the educational part that I feel like a lot of the parents need to be open-minded enough to learn. Parenting is not the same as, I'm 71, and it's not the same when I was growing up. It was, you do as I say, and that's it. Move it, keep it moving. And that's it. But now it's different. I have a 14-year-old granddaughter that I communicate with. I talk about different things. I learn a lot from her too. So I just think that the cafe will hopefully, if they have, parents have open-mindedness, that they will be able to open their minds to learning new things. And that's why I love the cafe. I love it.
Oh yeah. For those of us who attend them regularly, it doesn't matter how many times you attend a cafe, you will always learn something new. And I know for me, one of the biggest things that helps to repeat in just experiencing the cafe is to learn to listen. So that's always wonderful. And we wish you good luck, Suzette, with your cafe. And if there's anything we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out if we can help in any way. The people that are here with me, Onaje, Shirley, and Dorian, they are experts in cafes, and we're happy to help and support in any way we can. Okay, next question, please, Andrew. We have a lot to talk about today, and please feel free to put your comments and raise your hand. What memories do you choose to hold on to as you grow older? Oh, that's a good question. We talked about this a lot. Memories.
I guess I can comment on that one. So the memories I choose to hold on to as I grow older. So I was a single dad. I raised 6 children. So I know what it's like to have a 6-month-old, 1-year-old, 3, 4, 5, 7. The day they are 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 30. And you know, at me raising them as a dad, you know, I just always tell them, you have one job, go to school. Your job is to go to school, get your education. You know, and my main pitfall was get your high school diploma. You know, I'm not going to dictate what you do with the rest of your life, but I need you to just get your high school diploma and get to school. You know, be self-sufficient. You know, so and I've sit down and explained to them. If you decide to go to college, this is what your salary can look like. This is some of the things that you can get. You know, in life. But my main objective was for them all to become self-sufficient, which I can say today. You know, they all graduated from high school. They got good, excellent paying jobs, and they're self-sufficient. So they don't call me up, Dad, can you, Dad, I need. So those are the memories that I want to hold with me. And just knowingly that, you know, every now and then, you know, I get a text message from one of my daughters or one of my sons just out of the blue that I just want to thank you for raising me. And, you know, they give me that confirmation that they okay. So those are the things that I, you know, want to hold in within me.
That's great. That's amazing.
Some of the memories that I like to hold on to are the memories that where I struggled, and especially like with my children, different milestones in life where it seemed like it was hard to get over. I wasn't gonna make it. And it's really encouraging to me when I look back. I appreciate the struggle because it makes me feel like I accomplished something because I put effort into it, and it made me understand that in order to accomplish some of the best things in life, you got to put effort in it. And well, one thing, for example, is like my children. for the most part, I raised my children as a single mom, and they just really accomplished way more than I did as a young adult and a adult, and I appreciate that. That makes me like really proud. And when I look back and say, it was hard to say no. It was hard to make some decisions. It was kind of hard to be stern. But when I look back and I see what came out of it, that makes me feel like I understand why it was necessary. I have my oldest son graduated from college, and I was shocked because I thought I was like really hard on my children. And the reason I was because I was a foster kid and I was just out of control. I'll just put it like that. And that made me really want to say, I'm not going to put up with this stuff for my own kids. But my son, when he graduated from college, and he said to me, I'll never forget, it's something I hold dear, it's a memory. He said, Mom, I want to thank you because you wouldn't allow me to do a lot of things I wanted to do. I mean, when I said, stay in the house and do your homework, and I had to go look for him at basketball courts and walk behind him at home with a stick. I didn't hit him with it. It was just a threat. But because he didn't laugh and he didn't do what I said, those times were hard, and he was so angry with me. I remember how I felt because he looked so angry he couldn't say anything. But for him to on his own come to me one day and said, because of you, I have a college degree. And my sons were some of the first in my family that did graduate even from high school and to get a college degree. So that's what I think about. Those memories, like it was worth it. The hard work, sweat, blood, tears. It was work that I appreciate the accomplishments that came from it. So yeah.
I can agree with that, Miss Shirley. Looking back and thinking at the moment how hard it is for me to have to not agree with my children and be upset with them. And then to see the rewards later on of thinking, okay, maybe I did make the right decision in being as hard as I was on my children. And things are different. So yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you both for sharing. Onaje, do you want to answer this question?
When the question brings to mind seeing my children and my grandchildren smile, having fun, and also seeing them come into their own, as the two previous panelists had spoken to. When you see them coming into their own, thinking their own independence, is really just a wonderful thing to see. I'll give you an example. My oldest grandson lives in Detroit. And when I used to go and visit him when he was being raised by his grandmother, I lost my daughter, my oldest daughter. She was 25, his mother, Taisha. And when I used to go to Detroit, one of those times I took him to the African American Museum. And here it is, I don't know what, 20 years later or something. He says to me, Baba, they call me Baba, right? He said, Baba, guess where I'm at? I said, where you at, Aaron? Where you at? He said, I'm at the Detroit African American Museum. Don't you remember when you took me here X amount of years ago? I mean, that was such an exciting moment for him to, relate to something that I did. I showed him, and then he went on to take it forward himself. It's so important, not just to know history, but to really to know heritage. Heritage, when you affirm and you value the history, the facts and the figures, but you internalize it, and then it becomes a way of life for you. And this is a very, difficult thing in the Black community, because we've been told to hate ourselves. We've been told to the nose, the skin color, our hair, everything. So when I see them appreciating themselves, how God naturally made them, and to be a part of this movement of repair, we call it reparations, right? Reparations, internal reparations as well as external reparations. So to see them being involved in those kind of things, leaving some things, we have to distinguish and leave some things behind, and we have to bring in some new things so that we can really see ourselves evolving to of being fully healthy, well, and productive for ourselves and for our community.
Very true. Thank you. I appreciate your point of view from all of you and for sharing that. We have a comment from Suzette. She says, I would like to hold on to my mom's memories of empowerment for me to be the best I can be. That's true. We'd like for our children to carry that. And I appreciate you all sharing that with us. Memories are important, and how we honor them and bring them forward to our new generation, I think, is also very important. Andrew, can we move on to the next question, please? How do you find joy in your daily life?
Ooh, I love that question. I do.
Very good question.
I want to answer that because I feel so fortunate and blessed to be here in 2009, I have a new birthday. It's February, well, my original biological birthday is March 20th. But in 2009, in February 17th, I had open heart surgery. And I felt so different after that surgery. I had a valve replacement. I felt like, I don't know how I felt like when I was a baby, but I know how it felt to be a person. But after that surgery, it's like I had to learn everything. I did not feel the same. I was not secure in like how my body would move and react. The feeling was totally different. I looked at grass different. I realized even before going under, I really studied. I'm really kind of analytical. I studied what I'd be going through, and I was like, whoo, if I get through this, because I know they do a lot, but when you're one person and when I had to go through it personally, it looked a lot different. And that made me realize that I am really fortunate to have went through all that and came out. I look at grass different. I look at flowers different. I look at the fact. Remember, I like to play with kids. It's a little girl still inside me. I'm a senior citizen, I am, but it's still a little girl that shares that senior person also. Because I like to go swinging with kids. I like to play with kids, like games in the yard. And people used to say to me, look, you are swinging on swings. You're so older to be swinging on that swing. I say, look, if I can sit on here, I'm going to do it because it's fun. I like that feeling in my stomach when I go up in the swing. And I just look at life a lot different. Like, it don't have to be over. I know some people, my friends, have a view that when I'm older, I'm not going to be swinging in no swing. I'm older. If I can do it, I still skate. I still ride my bike. I don't do it as vigorously as I used to, but I love it. And it's like this feeling. If I can still do it, I tell them, like those old cars you have, I'm going to ride it till the wheels fall off.
That's true.
Do it till I can't anymore, because really, I had an old neighbor that was a really good friend of mine. I used to go and commute with him all the time. He was 107 when he passed on, but I used to go talk, and I used to offer him a ride. And he was like, no, I want to walk. And he's so slow, but he loved it. And I can understand that now. He wanted to walk while he could. And sometimes I do that. Even though I'm a heart patient, I'll park way up. And when I get tired, I'll just take my time. But I try to appreciate like things that I can do, because I think about it. I'm like, man, if my legs were broke or I didn't have a leg, I'd be wishing I had a leg to get tired. So, it's like I got to talk myself into that and like look at it like that. Thanks to my foster mom.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. For me, seeing my grandchildren smiling, their faces, I do Zoom with them. So sometimes I take a picture, with the Zoom, and I might print it out or something. But seeing them smile, that brings me so much joy. And being in places with people, positive people doing positive things, that brings me joy. And then where I live in a small town called Lansdowne, which is right next to Philadelphia. And beyond my backyard, there's a wooded area. And beyond the wooded area, inside of it, there's a stream. And I try to go to that stream every day. So when this is finished, I'm going to the stream. Because I love nature. I was raised off the dirt road, like literally on a dirt road with like no running water. outhouse. But I had nature. So that's always been like really my go-to and foundation. And now that I have a stream so close to where I live, it's quite a blessing, and that brings me a lot of joy as well.
Yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
great.
Dorian?
Yep, I think I want to say I find joy in my daily life, and this may sound a little off, right? I look forward to coming to work, right? I really look forward. I'm geared to get up at 5:30 every morning. I'm out the door at 6:05. I'm in the building by 6:58, 6:53, and I look forward to coming to work because I look forward to helping people. Um, I'm the one that, in the school district, I'm in the central office. Parents can come down here. They just, tired of certain things that they're going through, and they're cussing people out. But guess what? I'm the one the security guards to somebody from the office. Say, Mr. Dorian, can you please come and talk with this parent? Right. And just knowing that I was able to help them and support them. Right. And I get it, and I get it, because I was that parent at one time. I was that parent. That's why when they, under a superintendent years ago, they came to me and said, Mr. Dorian, we see that you're involved, you volunteer. What is it that you can do for the school district of Philadelphia? I said, y'all need a parent to advocate for parents, because you don't want, God forbid, one day something really goes wrong, because nobody know how to handle and address these parents. So I look forward to coming to work. I look forward to, supporting these families, getting them through these barriers that can become challenging. Because one of the things that got me upset as a parent, and I see other parents get upset, when we have to go through a perpetual cycle, right? You start at A, they sent you to B, you went through C, and you're back at A again with no resolution. So any parent would get irate from that, right? And I also enjoy, I like how Dr. Onaje put it. At one point I used to read to, before I had 19 grandkids, I was reading to 14 of my grandkids on FaceTime, right? And my daughter said, Dad, well, you always do things and you help another family. Why don't you just open that up on Zoom? So guess what? I'm in week number 55 coming up, 55 weeks. Every Saturday, I do a storytelling on Zoom. And it's open up to everyone and anyone.
Well, you didn't
And
invite me. You didn't send me an invite. I want my invite.
I will send you the flyer, okay? And I will
I
make
know,
sure
me too.
Lori, I will send Lori the flyer, and Lori can send it out to anyone. And it's not just me reading. Sometimes I can have an author. And if the author is reading the book and you'd like a copy of the author's book, I will purchase the book and mail it out to you. But I'm looking for anyone who have a passion that they want to read a book from grades K-5. Always be ready, because kids will ask the darndest things, right? And guess what? Kids will ask questions about that book that you read. So I just had the joy. I just feel that joy of giving and being able to support families and being able to help families. So that's the joy in my life. At the same time, I know it's about self-care, so I got to make sure that I'm physically well and physically fit for me to move and do the things that I do. But 17 years ago, I was deemed permanently disabled. But guess what? I woke up one morning, I said, you know what? They said I'm permanently disabled, but why do I feel all this energy? And guess what? 17 years down the line, I've been employed with the School District of Philadelphia, worked for DHS for 6 years, sit on 3 different boards, do all these other initiatives. I'm a reading captain, North Philly, facilitator, trainer. I just got accepted as president of the Special Education PTA. I just got nominated to sit on the State Parent Advisory Council, right? So I had to take all that stuff that they said that was wrong with me. But guess what? Here I am 17 years down the line, and I'm feeling great. I'm feeling super, right? I'm doing the things that I need to do, and especially when it comes to helping and supporting our families. So I'm here. I'm still here.
You
So
definitely are, Mr. Dorian. And for anyone who hasn't seen it, Dorian did a One Parent's Journey. It's in our Be Strong Families archive and on our YouTube channel, where he talked a little bit more in detail about all of his community work with the reading program that he does and the literacy program that he does. So if you have a chance, look up that webinar and get some more information. And then I will get from Mr. Dorian the Zoom and I'll share it with everyone. We'll see if we can put it on our website as well. We do have a comment. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Lilia, trying to have peace and read my Bible or meditate, going for walks and enjoy the sun on my face. That's her response to the question of how do you find joy in your daily life? Let's see, we have another comment from Andrew. Okay, no, it just says that he's enjoying the conversation. We've always had really good conversations, and we had a lot of fun putting together the elder group. All righty, let's see. From Suzette, my joy and love that I have and they give me every day, my nonprofit, each one teach one together for grandparents, kinship, and parents. Let's see if I can get to all the rest of these. And to Mr. Dorian, you have a comment in the, oh, and Andrew did put the love for literacy for volunteers in the chat. If y'all want to click on that, and you can get some information from that. All righty, we're gonna answer one more question and then we're gonna close out because we have, we're running out of time. We have so much to say. All right, when do you share your life experience? What do y'all think?
Yeah, I try to share as often as I can. You know, in social work and psychology, we talk about these stages of life, right? So the stage of life that they usually say that I'm in now is called generative, the need to share, to give back. One poem says, dreams are the seeds of achievement. Plant them in the riches of your experience. Tend to them with perseverance. Guard the tender shoots from self-doubt. And one day your dreams will no longer be your dreams, but your reality. So as an older person, I'm seeing so many of my dreams like come into fruition. And it's a beautiful thing. And how can you share that? I was really enjoying Mr. Harris's sharing of some of the things he's accomplished. And, you know, I got my doctorate at 68. I'm 69 now, right? So I can tell young people there's never too late for anything. Anything that's in your heart and your brain that you want to achieve, you can do it. There's nothing stopping you really except yourself. And that I can get a doctorate at 68. I came to learn that I'm one who's called, I have turtle medicine, right? The turtle plan, right? So if I can walk that slow for that long, right, to make that happen. So you discover things, you know, every day of your life. So when do I share? As often as I can. Sometimes my wife says, you share too much.
Yeah, sometimes it's like you weren't asked, but you want to share anyway because you have all this good stuff. It's important.
I want to agree with Dr. Onaje, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. You know, every conversation that I'm in, or if I'm doing the workshop or a presentation, I want to share some of the things because I want people to know. And not only that, we don't want people to know. We never know who we're going to help at that time. Like that resource can be like right there. Somebody say, "Oh wow, I didn't know about that. How can I get So when we're sharing things, we never know what that person may react to. Because at the end of the day, everybody needs help. We all need help sometimes, right? And that goes into the parent cafe, to the protective factors, right? Parents need help sometimes, right? So just being able to share, at that moment, because that comes into that listening exercise, right? We listen attentively, and the people tend to listen attentively back. You never know what may hit them, what may strike them. That's that aha moment, right? Oh wait, oh okay. We got similarities. Okay, what did you do to overcome this? Yeah, so I want people to be able to react to what I shared to them and things that I told them about me, because I want to hear it then and now, right? Because when we go on, we're not going to hear it, and that's why I was always tell my kids. I tell everybody, if it's something that you want to tell me or something that I need to be, told about, tell me now. Don't tell me when I'm going. Because when I'm going, I'm not going to hear it. I'm not going to hear it, right? So, acknowledge me now. Let me share some of the things that I went through in my life with you and acknowledge it then. But not when I'm going to say, you know what, Mr. Harris did say that and I didn't listen to him. And now it's too late. Um, so that's my take on it.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your take. And luckily, we have your everything you want to say, Mr. Dorian, recorded. Miss Shirley, do you want to share anything?
Oh yeah, I put it in the chat. I generally like to share some of my life experiences. Not this, not written in concrete, but generally I do when I feel led to, like, if I meet somebody, it's like the circumstances, because it just depends on what's going on. I still am like a little protective, but if I think that somebody I'm an encourager. So if I feel like led to share something with somebody, I will, to like encourage them, or let them know that they're not alone. They aren't the only one that's going through things. I might not have been what you've been through or as much as you've been through, but I've been through some similar things that you might relate to. So it just depends on what it is. And I like read. I like what Mr. Dorian said, like read. I always wanted to read books at a library because my foster mom that raised me from 7 months old, she had a third grade education. And because she taught me so much, she just worked with me. And I learned as I got older how fortunate it is for you to be able to read, because a lot of people, they have used to go to college and I just didn't know they couldn't read. And I couldn't believe that, and then the joy of reading, just the joy you get out of reading. So I love to read. I read to older people. We can't even volunteer. I used to take my children and we like holidays, and we used to volunteer at senior citizen homes and stuff, because a lot of people, they don't come through during, a lot of times people are so busy, and it's just a feeling. And I learned that they are so grateful just for you to be in their presence, just for you to serve them, and the fact that you don't really know them. And that's just a feeling. It's undescribable. I'm like, I think I'm doing something for them. My children, they do something for me. That is just such a good feeling. So I have asked people that I go, like, on the phone, on Zoom, me and my family, once a week, we read. We read the Bible. One time it was a song on my heart, I Won't Complain. And Miss Lori know I'm a karaoke. I'm not all that great of a singer, but this song got on my spirit. And my family, when I went to my family meeting on Zoom, I say, wait, y'all, I have a song I want to sing. Because this song touched me so much. Everybody probably know it, I Won't Complain. I sang that song because I had learned the words. I had been singing it at home. I sang it for everybody on Zoom. You could hear a pin drop. And it just made me feel so good. It wasn't about how I sound. It was about the words, the spirit of the song, me sharing with everybody. Because you don't know, when you get on like a meeting like this, you don't know what people are going through. I love to encourage. I don't have to know that I did. My hope is that I did. And you all do the same for me when I'm here with you, because we taking the time out to share our time with one another. So that's it. That's all for me.
Thank you so much, Miss Shirley. I was wondering when that karaoke was going to come in, because I was like, she didn't mention it.
No.
That was one of her joys.
Like, she do it too much.
Thank you all for sharing your insights and all of your wisdom with us today. I appreciate everyone who came on today and you all opening up your hearts and sharing with us. I hope we can do this again sometime soon, because we obviously have a lot to say. For those of you who are on here, there's a poll that just came up. If you would please answer the couple of questions that are on there, we would appreciate it. And please, for those of you, think about what you want to amplify. Amplify, hashtag amplify the third act. Hashtag amplify making good memories and treasuring them. Amplify your family and your treasures. Please put that in the chat. Next slide, please. Don't forget, on Friday, we have a taste of cafes. If any of you have not experienced a cafe, we have these free online cafes. Anybody can join. We are here every single Friday. This week it will be hashtag She, celebrating the spirit of women. And Ms. Shirley and Mr. Dorian and Dr. Onaje are part of the crew that help us in those cafes. So if you want to continue the conversation, they're not recorded, but you can sign up using the QR code on here or at bestrongfamilies.org. And they're at 12 o'clock Central Time. So you can register for upcoming webinars. You can visit bestrongfamilies.org/webinars. We do offer certificates for those who need them if you need them for attendance purposes. And you can contact info@bestrongfamilies.net. And you can use a QR code on your screen as well. Next. Please look up some of our wonderful products at our shop, and that's where you can find our newest decks. Keep an eye out because we are working on so many new things, but you can find games, you can find supplies, calendars. The Christmas season is coming up. If anybody wants to get of your shopping, please come to our shop at bestrongfamilies.org, and you can find all sorts of great things there to support your family and conversations with your family. Next. You can join our YouTube community where you can find this webinar if you want to go back and look at it or you want to share it, and all of our archives of 2 years worth of different webinars and different topics. We appreciate you sharing your day today. We know that it's not always easy to take time out. Thank you all, especially Mr. Dorian, Ms. Shirley, and Dr. Onaje for joining us today. We appreciate your insights and everything you had to say today. I look forward to another one sometime.